Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Rennick. I'm the senior broker, the team lead of Team Rennick Real Estate Services, part of that great Keller Williams on the Water family based out of Sarasota and Bradenton, serving the west coast of Florida and all the barrier islands. Welcome to the October 8th edition of Mike's Market Update. Each and every week throughout the month, we look at a different aspect of the market in terms of sales, pricing, the amount of inventory, how long it's taking to get things sold. When you put the entire picture together and you drill down to your area, your particular subdivision or your condominium association, you can leverage this information to your advantage. We're happy to provide that with no obligation. Just reach out and let us know. So let's take a look here. If I want to try to add this. Let's see here. I want to try to bring the desktop on. We're using software to do this, and sometimes when you use software, it works well, and sometimes maybe not quite as well. So let's bring this up. There we go. I think we're going to be able to do this now. I want to bring it down into that aspect, and let's show what we have. All right, so after a little bit of a glitch, it's working. Let's look at Sarasota County. Let's start high, and we'll drill down by looking at the two counties. In Sarasota County, and it's the dark green bar that we're most interested in. Those are the sales. There was 829 units during the month, and this is brand new data, during the month of September. That's down 22% from last month, but it's up almost 4% from last year. So if you look at the trend line of the dark green bars, we do see it falling, but it is higher than it was last year. So we're going to want to keep an eye on that. The market is starting to show some turbulence. It's starting to be a little volatile, not significant yet, but changes are on the way. So we're going to want to watch this. In terms of a buyer's market or seller's market, it is a neutral market. And I can show you here, a buyer's market is when there's more than 6 months of inventory based on closed sales. Seller's market is less than 3, and anywhere in between that is neutral. So when we look at all the factors over the next 3 weeks after today, you'll see where all the numbers come from. But this is somewhere between 3 and 6 months worth of inventory on the market. And our sales fell from last month, but they're up from last year. Let's look at Manatee County before we go into the city level. At the Manatee level, we sold 685 units during the month of September. That's down also from last month, but it's up 11% from last year. So we're seeing the same kind of trend in Manatee County as we were just a minute ago in Sarasota County. Now, this combines condos, it combines townhouses, villas, single-family homes, vacant land, all the above. When we look at your specific market, the results could be significantly different. This is just a start. Let's go down to Longboat Key. Longboat Key sold 24 units in the month of September. That's down 55%. That is a huge reduction from last month, and it's down from last year. Something we're going to want to keep an eye on. If you look at last year, it was a little bit volatile. This year, we're below those levels, and we're seeing more volatility. So definitely want to keep an eye on that. What's interesting, if you look at the light green, there's 304 units on the market, and only 24 sold. So that's going to take a long time to get that market cleared up. Let's go over to Holmes Beach and Bradenton Beach. Sales there for the month of September were 12 units. That's also down 54% from last month, down 20% from last year. Again, something we need to keep an eye on. Last year's data and last month's data show a downturn. Is this the beginning of something significant? I personally don't believe so. But when we're formulating a plan for our buyers or our sellers, this is the kind of information we take into account. Let's look at Siesta Key. Siesta Key sold 29 units. That's down 41% from last month, and it's up from last year. Again, the lull last month, kids were going back to school. There was less travel. That doesn't concern me when we just see a drop in 1 month. When we see a drop from last year and 1 month, that is concerning. This in Siesta Key, we're up from last year. So that part is a good news story. In Venice sold, again, we're looking at the dark green bars. They're down 24% from last month, but they're up 1.1% from last year. So I would suggest the market is kind of flat when we look year to year. There was some volatility looking back at last year. We'll see what happens this year. Sarasota, the city of Sarasota. We started with the county. Now let's look at the city. 455 units were sold. That's down 20% from last month, but it's up 4.1% from last year. I like the 4.1%. Another area to keep an eye on. Bradenton, 382 units were sold in the month of September, down 24% from last year, but up 13%. Down 24% from last month, up 13% from last year. All of this information is published in October with data through the end of September. Now, what does this mean? Let me change some buttons here. The market is changing. I've been talking about that for 3 or 4 weeks now. It's the beginning of something. When we look on a national level, the economy is strong. Unemployment is down at the lowest levels it's been in 50 years. Stock market continues to climb. A lot of good signs at a macro level. When we come down to the real estate level, we're seeing in this area some mixed signals. Well, whether you're a buyer or a seller, there's a way to address those. And it's actually going down deeper than what I have time to show on these shows on Monday morning and digging into your area. If you're looking at a specific subdivision or you're looking at a specific condo association, whether you're buying or selling, we want to go down to that level to understand what the market's doing. And that's how we can use that to our advantage. If you have any questions or would like information for your search, please reach out. My personal cell is 941-400-8735. My email is mike@teamrennick. Every Monday morning, we bring you the shows to show you a different aspect of the data because it's when we put it all together, pricing, sales level, how much inventory is on the market, and how long is it taking to get a property sold. When we put that entire picture together, we have the information to be most effective for you. For those watching, thank you very much. Those of you that will see the recording of this, thank you. If you need anything, reach out. My parting question is, how can I continue to help? Thanks, everyone. Take care. Have a great Monday and have a great week.